Our 2024 season is off to a very interesting start.
Going into Long Beach, I was excited. New build, new car, better ergonomics for the driver, huge thrash to get out there as usual.
Getting things done, trying to make sure we make Long Beach, it was definitely a hustle.
Coming into the 24 season, I worked hand in hand with James to help develop the chassis for him.
And the team worked really close with me to give me exactly what I wanted. And there's one goal in my mind for this year. To finish on top.
So I left my house in North Carolina at about 5 a.m. to head to Long Beach for Media Day. It was the most excited 5 a.m. I have ever had.
I was nervous and a little bit of excitement, obviously. Always nervous because I always want to triple check everything before going out.
We got off the airplane, we were super excited, thought we were going to have like a bunch of time to relax.
To watch James in the brand new car we just built him, to watch Ben in his championship-proven car.
This was a huge opportunity to build a car for what I perceive as the best team in Formula Drift.
I was really excited. Long Beach is probably one of my favorite tracks in the world.
Team had made magic getting the cars out to Long Beach. Things were looking good. So when I arrived Media Day, the guys had already put down one lap. I saw some videos. Ben found the wall very early on. James immediately was just touching walls, just perfect, like throwing
100-point run, 100-point run, 100-point run.
He could have parked the car and I think he'd have been fine.
We had him dialed in, had him really comfortable with the car.
I do know that when they went to change spark plugs, they found an issue, so they had to pull the motor out the night before.
Oh, Monday. So we're going over everything, making sure everything's good. Pull spark plugs, make sure spark plugs and all are replaced. As soon as we pull the spark plug out of cylinder 8, threads were stripped out in the head.
So the team decided to remove the engine.
All the guys finally flew in and we started pulling the motor out.
It was like a 2-hour pull.
Fix the threads, install a thread insert.
It was an hour where they put the Healy coil in.
Put a new spark plug in it, put everything back together.
And then it was like another 2-hour put back in, and we fired the motor. I think it was
like 2:30 in the morning on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it was a very late night for them, starting off the week before we even turned the wheel with pulling the motor out and repairing the head and reinstalling it. I was hopeful that everything was going to go smoothly, but you never know, things can go against you sometimes.
All right, test, Media Day, practice, testing, whatever I'm trying to say. Update. James, how you feeling out there?
Feeling good. First lap out this morning, felt really at home. Brought Becky out for a spin as well and just felt solid. So
nice.
Feeling comfortable.
Yeah, so I was really happy with how Media Day went. Specifically, I remember I was a bit nervous before going out there, but in my first run, as soon as I flicked into the first corner, I felt really at home.
Going into Media Day, car was good. We had high hopes. Testing everything out, making sure our drivers were comfortable.
No drama, just standard, process, suspension adjustments, and dialing the car in for the drivers.
Everybody's in great spirits. We know that both cars were ready to really just lay down some heaters. And the first one, James goes out, 95-point run easily.
Had a good practice Media Day. Ben was great. We were learning Ben. Ben was learning us.
The car felt comfortable, the steering was working.
He was starting to feel really comfortable, really confident in the vehicle.
All things seemed normal. I didn't hear any challenges or concerns. I remember being just super pumped with how we progressed and what we had on the track at Media Day.
So leading into the last session at Media Day, I was feeling ready for it. I knew it was only a couple of more laps left in the day before we had a break and kind of chill out before the main competition started.
I remember it was the last run and James had come by. I was in turn 1 and I just started walking back to the pit.
Went in there, flicked into the first corner, everything was going to plan.
We were doing a subframe swap. I think it was like 12 or 13 minutes. It wasn't long.
I transitioned under the bridge and I noticed the car lost power.
It was enough time for us to literally push the car out, look up, and then be like, what's on fire?
I saw smoke coming, a lot of smoke coming from under the hood, and the next thing, it just went up in flames.
and I hear fire, fire, fire over the radio, which is a crew chief. That is the absolute last thing you want to hear.
Yeah, I heard on radio there was a fire and it's bad.
And then all of a sudden we were like, oh where's James?
And as I got closer to the pit, I saw all of our team running. And then I look over and I just see a massive cloud.
And as that was happening, the fire just exploded, like went really hard. And yeah, I was like, okay, now we're in trouble.
I was just
Plus
like,
chaos.
you know what? I'll see it when it gets here. I don't even want to see it.
And then I saw Becky, James's girlfriend, come by, and she was just like super distraught and was just like, car's done, car's done.
I jumped out as quick as I could because the flames were now starting to come into the car.
It was disgusting. Like it was, you saw everything go up in flames.
I didn't even process what it was, but what was going through my mind was like, holy shit, that's a ton of smoke. That's not good.
Oh man, gut-wrenching, because you're seeing all your countless hours of hard work just go up in flames.
It took quite a few seconds for the fire marshals to come with extinguishers, and I really thought this was the end of our brand new Ford Mustang for the 2024 season. So it did a lot of damage. The car went onto the recovery truck. The team came to see me by the side of the track, and I was like so disappointed.
When the tow truck turned the corner, it was horrible for us to look at.
Tear-jerking moment almost, man, like knot in your throat, want to throw up all at the same time.
When the car got back to the pit and the team was looking at it, I could just feel their energy was just like, ugh.
I saw Ray, Shelby, Andy, Justin, Giffy, everyone, all of us, Vaughn, looking at the car, and we're thinking, nah.
Looking at it, it looked like a monumental test. It looked almost impossible.
Everything from the firewall forward, which is what's visible, I was like, everything is trash. There's nothing good. There's literally not a good hose, not a good wire. We have no spare harness.
This is by far the craziest thing that's ever happened. I mean, we've never had a fire on a car, period, except for maybe like a minor tire fire from getting a little bit extra, doing burnouts or something, but
I sat back and just waited because everybody and their mother just showed up and wanted to look at the car and look at it. And I wanted to be able to look at it with nobody around.
The freaking intake manifold and throttle body were melted.
Oh, wait.
Like,
That's what's left of it.
that's the throttle body. That's like billet aluminum throttle body melted.
It was devastating to say the least. But with the team that we have, rallying around each other, getting this thing back up and running was it was a no-brainer.
At that point, Vaughn comes out of the trailer, and he was the turning point in the whole situation where basically he was like, right, it sucks, it happened. What are we gonna do to fix this? And Vaughn finally made enough phone calls that we just decided that we're gonna stick with plan A and we're gonna rebuild this car.
I was not like upset, I was not mad, I was just kind of already in the switch gear of like, okay, we got 2 days, how are we doing this?
I was praying that it was going to work in our favor, that we could just all get stuck in and try to make it happen.
I was just putting all my energy and belief in that we were gonna get his Formula Drift car that we had just built for him, ready to go.
Okay, so I got a text from Vaughn early in the morning that was like, hey, you gotta get this package here to Long Beach. It's got all the parts to fix James Deane's engine. I don't know if you heard it blew up. I'm like, yeah.
It's been an exciting, call it 18 hours here at the RTR lab. We are kind of all hands right now figuring out what we need to bring out there.
Looking at tracking information, I've got 3 people, myself included, the head of our warehouse, head of the motorsports team, Bobby, contacts the vendor that sent these 2 boxes of like 1 million parts. I'm looking at SKU numbers and the contents, like, oh my God, if we're missing one thing, we're not racing a car.
I mean, it was just a massive, massive team effort.
And now with this, I'm gonna go drive to Raleigh this evening and fly out of Raleigh, get there late tonight, and start thrashing with the guys to get this thing back on track.
UPS says that it's shipped. Online says that it's delayed by a day from an airplane. I'm talking to the guy in California that's receiving this box, and he's like, look, I can pull it off the truck, it delays it a day. So fingers are crossed.
From people here in Charlotte, everyone in California. I was on 2 shoot days, but in between every take I'm on, I'm on calls.
We get our guy in the ground, Brenner, to see if he can get his hands on the package. I'm sitting there biting my nails, ripping my hair out. Eventually, an hour later, he's like, all right, I got my hands on it.
James is helping. I mean, we had all hands on deck. The industry was reaching out, all of our partners, anything. It was unbelievable.
And then they moved some of the flights for the team that were flying in for FD on Friday earlier so they could bring parts with them.
8 people are on this while there are, 20 people clobbering the car in real time. We're all freaking out because if we didn't get that package, all was lost. I mean, all was lost.
Gonna drive out to Raleigh, a couple hours away, and jump on a plane and get out to LA and help the boys fix this mess.
There was glimmers of hope. Talking to the guys back here at the shop, getting us care packages out, making sure, we had an engine, we had a spare engine in the rig. Transmission was good.
We had people from everywhere, the industry, like different drivers, different teams offering help. And the first person to come straight over to me was Deane Kearney. And he said, James, my workshop is there. It's yours for the week. Do whatever you need, stay as long as you want. And I told that information to RTR and Vaughn.
We got together, figured out where the car was going, what we need to do, and got the short-term plan to go get the car, take it apart, assess everything.
That's what I was thinking Tuesday night. When we got over Deane Kearney.
Tuesday we got to Deane's shop and tore down.
We got it over there, we started pulling the engine, talking to each other, and there was,
It was, all right, you're gonna do this, all right, I'll do this, and then it was this, and then it was this.
I knew we had a tough hill to climb, but I knew it was possible.
From my perspective, there was no other option than to try everything we could to get James back on the track.
Yeah, so we got to Deane Kearney's shop. There was quite a few struggles.
The biggest challenges were the wiring and the plumbing.
Yeah, Wednesday morning we get in there, Ray's already in wiring mode, him and Shelby.
I looked at her, I'm like, we got the biggest unknown. We have the wiring harness. That's what's gonna fall on the two of us.
There was an insane amount of damage to fix, like the windshield. Even the roof is burned, the windows were burned.
This is broken, that's broken, and then we just started fixing one after the other.
Say by about midnight, we had the chassis completely stripped, ready for new parts.
I think Ray told me it was about a week of work that needed to be done, and they basically had 48 hours to do it.
Engine, transmission, mechanical wise, I know that can be done. Making an entire wiring harness from scratch, that's tough.
You down to do this? Because this is a lot of work and we're gonna not sleep and we don't have anything that we need.
I'd say every about 6 hours, we had somebody flying in from Charlotte, another team member with parts.
Once we had the intake manifold sorted, we knew we had a solution for the plumbing. It really just came down to time and wiring.
So it just turned into, you know what, let's just push and get it done for Friday.
With the time crunch, with the lack of sleep, was that wiring harness going to work?
I don't know how the team did it, but they stayed up 24 hours for 2 days straight.
And we were like, okay, you know what, let's get this thing fired up. Thursday night, somehow, like this is our plan, tonight we're firing this thing up.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get it, we're gonna deliver it to the track, and we did.
Would you look at that? Rising from the ashes, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think, James?
What a team. This is insane.
So we arrived onto the track on Friday morning, first day of competition for Formula Drift, Streets of Long Beach 2024. The car arrives back in the morning. I could not believe my eyes when I saw it. It looked like a war machine. It was just black carbon fiber on the front, no silver wrap, just looking really mean at the front. Then for going from the fenders up to the doors, you had all the burns still in it. The burns on the roof, under the bonnet, it was all patina look because all the paint was melted. You got a brand new motor sitting in there. It was just wild.
When I saw that car Friday morning, I was just so proud.
Friday morning rolls around, and we still have a whole lot of things that we have to do to get the car into compliance to be competitive. So we missed the first practice sessions.
Second session, we just brought it there. That way they could button up and tidy it up in daylight with a little bit of rest. Put the track map in it, the map to run it on the track, and
threw it out.
Proceed to send it.
He lines up with Connor, his next door neighbor, and lays down an absolute heater of a run.
He gets back to the pit and he gets out of the car, big grin on his face, and he says, "That was sick."
He was just so lit up with joy and just amazed. And in him, I think, not that he ever needs a fire lit under his ass, but he wanted to make the weekend pay off for the team.
Seeing him say that and the confidence that he had regained back with the car, with this vehicle that had been on fire 2 days prior, absolutely amazing.
So at that point, I knew we're ready to go. And James is ecstatic over the radio.
Unfortunately, Ben had a throttle cable break, which put him out of competition on Friday. So come Saturday morning, it was all eyes on James. The entire team focused.
And it gave us that extra push to say, you know what?
The only mission now is to get James on that podium.
RTR ready to rebuild because, man, that's what they do. They absolutely crash to get the cars back out there. James Machine Deane, three-time champion, using that AutoZone Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD.
So, Saturday game day, Formula Drift streets of Long Beach. Had a few glitchy issues in practice where the fan stopped working and the car cut out a couple of times after the finish line. Didn't really know what it was. The team had quite a bit of space after practice to check it out before our top 32 battle.
The first down is exposed red eye, laser vision on the prize.
We had so many issues throughout the competition, like the car switching off mid-run. It cut out another couple of times after the finish line, but then it started raining. So even though we were meeting these gremlins and little issues with the car, I was like, I don't care. Like, if this car stays running, I am pushing as hard as I can because I want to make the team proud.
Here comes James Deane, the AutoZone Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD. The roasted marshmallow Mustang. A little bit of correction there from James Deane. Trying to go in that first outside zone. James Deane hanging it out quite a bit. Here comes Simon Olsen. Get his first ever victory, maybe in Formula Drift. James Deane, good angle. Simon Olsen pedaling it with the proximity. Here we go, bringing it on home into that final inside clip. Look at this, we got James Deane and Simon Olsen crawling their way across that finish line.
I was so determined to not give up. The team were so determined not to give up, and when I got that win, I literally, from all the stress, all the emotions from the entire week, of everyone pushing so hard, fighting through so many different problems, I broke down into tears.
And your winner here at round one, the streets of Long Beach AutoZone, presented by Type S, is James the Machine Deane! James Deane, after being on fire on Tuesday and now in the rain.
It was literally the most emotional win I can think of in my career. When my name was finally called out as the winner, I was like, wow, I cannot believe we done this.
Last but definitely, it's your winner here at the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S, in the AutoZone Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD, James the Machine Deane! Get on up there, buddy. Congratulations.
In the end, James, under the pressure, under the stress, under the unknown if his car was just gonna cut out, he just showed that he is just unfreaking believable.
To know that I have my teammates behind me pushing me, and to know that we have that kind of team, we have that kind of support behind us, then there's nothing that we cannot accomplish.
One of the top goals is to make sure that James Deane has a fighting shot at a championship, and that's all we're fighting for. And
yeah, I think so. This definitely tops my top crazy motorsports accomplishments.
It was an incredible weekend. It was an incredible experience. I don't ever want to do it again.
It's a huge sigh of relief. We got our first win on an RTR Mustang. We got our first win back after so many years missing Formula Drift, and yeah, to start the season with a win, I can't wait to roll into Atlanta knowing that I can do it, knowing that the car can do it, and knowing that I got the most badass team in the game. It was absolutely unbelievable, and I can't wait for the rest of the season.